Emerald with music and lyrics written by our guest in studio, Vincent Degiorgio. She's a very attractive woman, this Caro is. I'd never heard of her before.
She'd be an instant movie star. And
she's got that sort of 50s...
You know what that is? That's Never on a Sunday.
It's 77 songs all in one. It's the perfect Heinz 57.
Yeah, truly.
You know, the great thing about Caro is that this song was actually, songs on the record were conceived for a Japanese pop artist named Nami Amuro. The first single, Back It Up. And the funny thing is, it morphed into this, and Caro has gone from basically being a friend of the co-producers Jan van Weergen and David Schroyers, my friends in Amsterdam, to basically being a European pop star. And she's already sold out the Royal Albert Hall. She's sold out 2 venues in the U.S. when she did a short trip over and wowed the people at Universal. It's amazing what she's become and where she's come from, because the camera loves her, the microphone loves her, and we've gone basically from a bedroom studio to cutting orchestras at Abbey Road with a terrific and tremendous artist.
She looks like a screen siren, they used to call them, from back in the 50s.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, she
the dark hair and those bedroom eyes.
Yeah.
And now you say this is influenced by the tango?
What you mean?
The rhythms, pretty much. They're dance rhythms, but they're mixed.
You know, basically, the funny thing is, David and I in particular, who do a lot of the final, writing in many ways together, we were both really influenced by, listening to easy listening and pop music, because obviously, getting into orchestral pop in the 70s means you're a disco head, but, the stuff that my father played for me, I would always hear fantastic records that, basically tripped on every light fantastic dance-wise.
Okay.
So we've embellished every song with a different kind of rhythm, so they all have their individual personalities.
Like an Xavier Cugat.
Yeah, well, Cugat, of course, is a huge influence, but even on the second album we did on the Shocking Miss Emerald, we used a song called The Way of Life that was a big hit for Sinatra, and the Burt Kaempfert estate let us rewrite an entire new song over top of it, which is the worst demo I've ever sang in my life that I hope nobody ever hears. But Caro turned it into a masterpiece.
Where is she from originally?
She's from Amsterdam.
From Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You're right, she could be a movie star.
I really think so. I think she could have been the somewhere in the middle between somebody like Ava Gardner and a Marilyn Monroe, where she just walks in the room and she's the beautiful, smart one. And
that's sort of like David Foster's philosophy. He has to start there. Got a great set of pipes and everything, but you have to look the part, and you have to have this something about you.
Yeah, my friend Mike James says you can't fall in love with a voice. You have to fall in love with an artist.
Okay. There you go.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
We're about to start working on Caro's 3rd record, actually, next week. Half of the Deleted Scenes album was actually written in my old apartment.
Now, is this selling physical CDs, or is this downloads?
Believe it or not, on the first record, we sold almost 70% physical.
That's fantastic.
So we're basically making records for kids who buy albums, which are the big kids. Yeah. But the digital downloads have been tremendous. I mean, it's funny with her. She just seems to pop up pretty much everywhere. We've been on 25 or 35 television shows and around the world, including a lot here in North America. So those in the know really do want to know more about her.
Has she performed here? Has she performed in Toronto?
No, she's going to come here hopefully by the end of the year. But the demand for her internationally is so huge that she hasn't come here. She hasn't gone to Japan, for example. Or
like if she came here, what kind of a venue could
I put her in
she
Massey
sell
Hall and she'd blow the roof off.
And she could sell it out.
I think
there are
so.
enough people that know who she is.
I think so. I mean, when she sold out the Royal Albert Hall, that blew me away. So I've got a feeling that Massey would be a wonderful, intimate set of, or maybe Roy Thompson with the orchestra would kind of put tears in my eyes. I'd love that. It'd be a dream come true.
Wow. Caro Emerald is her name. How old is she?
She's I don't know. What do we say? 29 and holding. If you respect the.
No, that's a good spot.
Well, I'm not meaning to be personal. Just want to get an idea of whether she's peaking in her career, whether she's not even close to it?
Oh no, she's definitely on the rise. I believe she's 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's great.
So there's a lot of notes left in her,
Yeah,
Very
as
much
they
so.
say.
a lot of dancing notes.
And what role are you going to be taking on for the next CD? Are you writing the songs again?
Yeah, working on those with David, Jan, Robin, and the rest of the team, and with Caro. Caro was very involved in the second record, and you know, it's interesting. Her trademark and signature when she writes with us is very different. She brings a completely different melodic aspect or thought to things where I wouldn't on some songs, and but lyrically they just let me paint the pictures, and that's a real honor.
When you go back to your beginnings in the record industry, what was it? Everybody has sort of like that watershed moment in their career where suddenly you realize, aha, this is where I'm going, or this is where I need to go, or I know I'm on my way. What was yours?
I think I always wanted to be a lyricist, and I got accused of plagiarizing a poem in a grade 6 poetry contest. That was one, and that made me feel that I had a talent. But I think when I was doing things independently, and I had a big hit in the mid-'80s with an artist named Area Fashion, who's now...
I remember Area.
Yeah, it was a country song I turned into a dance classic called Saving Myself. And I was never, ever happy with the album because I was 27 years old and I had to make a record in 27 days, and it was impossible. And I never liked the record, so the watershed moment was I always had to make sure I never made the same mistake again, and I would have said, I need to make the right record, not just a record. Mm-hmm. And when I went to work for BMG, I think seeing how we developed a market in the dance pop world so that other kids could make it as they are now, I think that was the other thing that I really remember fondly.
And it's always been part of the gay scene too, hasn't it?
Well, yeah.
That has been a big part of the dance nights, and the music has really, it just found its home there.
Well, I think they were fearless, and I think
Yeah.
in the straight clubs they may have needed a little bit more time. Luckily for me, I was playing in clubs during those days where you know, both would show up and they would just dance, and it wasn't about being it wasn't a dressing contest. It was who can stay on the floor the longest because they like the music the most.
Right. They had the best moves to show.
Oh yeah, mine were in the booth because I was a really shy guy, so I wanted to dance all night long. So I figured I'd do it in the booth where people would leave me alone.
That's why people sing in the shower as well, Vincent.
Yeah, and that's why my demos are never released for public consumption. So
Good. Probably a good idea, as you say.
yeah, for sure.
Vincent Degiorgio, fascinating stuff. I thank you very much for coming in and introducing us to Caro Emerald.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And you know, both of Caro's albums are available on iTunes. And you know, let's start something. Let's bring her home.
There you go.
Bring her to Massey or Roy Thompson, and
I'll bring her here.
Bring her here to the show first.
And we will, and we'll make sure there are tickets
All right.
waiting for you.
Good stuff. Coming up next, is it organic? Interesting piece of news for you. In the United States, the American organic food sector will finally be getting